Whereabouts are we?
Here we go, here's it. Who the hell are you?
Yes, Greg, DC Wine, Sunhill.
We've come to relieve you.
Oh, aye. So what the hell's wrong with our fellas then, eh?
One's sick, the other's in court.
This is an area surveillance team job, nothing to do with divisional coppers.
We don't particularly want to be here, pal. I'd sooner be back at the Nick catching up with an overflowing tray of urgent correspondence.
Do you know anything about the job?
Nope, nothing. Don't want to either. Hopefully we're only here for a couple of hours until your governor can find somebody else.
We were told to log the movements of a target. The idea was you'd fill us in.
Oh, come on. Typical lobber lumber, eh?
You got a damn cheek, Larber, using two of my staff. If I'd been here, you wouldn't have done it.
Needs must, Frank.
How long are they going to be there?
Oh, a couple of hours max.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
I've got 3 now with flu. I've got another 3 at the Crown Court.
What, in the dock?
That's not funny, Frank. Not even as a joke.
You know your trouble, Larber. You got no sense of humour. And neither were my lads if they're stuck on your surveillance all day.
Name's Paul Burnell. Got about 5 cons for robbery.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Nothing recent.
Cheers.
Moved into number 9 across the road there a couple of months ago. Spent a fortune on the inside.
Doesn't look that special to me.
There's a palace in there by all accounts. He's got a jacuzzi, the lot.
At the moment, we think he's into overseas property.
Like what?
Like timeshare, that kind of thing.
How many people live in the house?
Just him and the missus. Very tasty, too. Take a wee look at the top left-hand window. There's a mirror on the wall. Reveals everything.
You probably won't see him till about 11. If you do, he'll stroll up to the end of the road and catch a taxi.
Disqualified?
Nah, just won't use a motor.
Can he?
Sign in. Burnell's taking no chances. He doesn't want to go back inside again.
What backup is he?
All you have to do is pick up the RT. We've got a couple of units, a few streets away, ready to take up the chase.
So,
That's it.
So who's the target?
Paul Burnell.
Well, the robber? On this manner?
CID. No, he's not here at the moment, mate. Yeah, we'll ring back later, will you?
18 months.
Yeah, I'll tell him you called.
So what's Burnell up to then?
Dunno.
Well, you must know something. How long you had him under surveillance?
3 weeks. Had the phone hooked up at the same time, but he don't use it. He goes down to the telephone box when it's working. Very cagey.
You sure he hasn't sussed you out?
Yeah, it's just an old habit.
Like you and me?
Smells like a brothel in here.
Don't know how people can live like this. Must take practice.
You wonder if they're like it at home.
Mrs. Curry would have a field day.
Who?
Yes, hello?
It's Mrs. Lewis. You could have had boiled eggs for a change this morning, only I broke one and I didn't have time. Where's the other chaps?
They've gone home. Who are you, exactly?
Mrs. Lewis. I live downstairs. Oh, I hope you're not going to waste this.
Oh, I'm sure we can manage a piece of toast, Mrs. Lewis.
Downstairs, you say?
Any movement yet?
Movement?
Yes, the fellow you're keeping tabs on across the road.
No movement, no.
Nothing happens in this street that I don't know about.
Yeah, well, thanks for the breakfast, Mrs.
Lewis. Oh, I'll be downstairs if you want me.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Some secret, eh?
More tea, Vicar?
God, the coffee and this Nick. See you later, Frank.
Not if I see you first. I heard about the board, Ted. I'm sorry.
Just one of those things.
I thought you'd make DI this time round.
So did I.
Next time, eh?
Yeah.
There's been another of those frauds down at Parker's. I was going to give it to Greg, but I think it's better if you deal with it.
I didn't stand a chance, you know that?
Are we still discussing the board?
It was all cut and dried before I went up there.
Yeah, well, there'll be another time. Forget it. So if you do the fraud, I'll let Greg do the break-in.
I just wish somebody would tell me the truth. That's all I ask. If my cards are marked, then for God's sake, tell me.
Ted, I'll sympathise with you.
I mean, what's the point of them sending me up there year after year?
Well, I've got a nick to run.
At this moment, I don't give a damn about you or the nick. I want the truth.
You want the truth? I'll tell you the truth. You'll never get promotion as long as Brownlow's in charge of this station. Now you know. Now can we get on with some work?
Pity Burnell's missus doesn't show herself. Otherwise, I don't see the point of having binoculars.
Pigs. That's what they are, pigs. I'm gonna pop downstairs and get myself a dustbin bag or something.
Yeah, all right.
Being a sergeant's not that bad, Ted. Sometimes I wish I'd stuck with 3 stripes.
I think you should know. I'm putting my papers in.
Resign? You can't do that.
It's either that or watch youngsters like Melvin sail past without even firing a shot in anger.
That's the way of the world, Ted. Nothing's going to change that. That's life.
Not anymore.
Do you want to transfer?
I've made up my mind. I'm leaving the job.
Get out! Well, that's up to you. But think about it.
I've headed up to here. No more.
Give it to the weekend. Fair enough. I'll accept your papers. And not before the weekend. All right.
All units from OP, target is on the move. Are you receiving? Over. All units, are you receiving? Over.
Hurry up! Give me the car!
Come in heaven's name, somebody answer me!
Jesus! Come on! Come on! Come on, he's been kidnapped! What's going on?
What's going on? Somebody's taking him. Get on the phone.
I'll use the phone in the air!
Yeah, no, listen. All right, who's taking him? Who's taking him?
She's inside.
Have you circulated the registration of the car?
Why, Reg, is about all I got.
That's a fat lot of good. Has she no idea who it's down to?
I think she's given us a load of moody.
I expect this to help you.
Ellison. What happened?
A car pulls up, 2 heavies jump out and grab Burnell. I tried to raise Larber's people on the RT. No one acknowledged my transmission.
You recognise any of the faces?
No, but I could pick them out.
Where were you going with your husband?
He wanted a couple of new shirts. I wanted some cigarettes, a bit of shopping. Why? Why, Paul, for heaven's sake?
What does he actually do for a living?
What's that got to do with it?
I don't know, unless you tell me.
For all you lot care, he could be lying in a gutter somewhere with his guts hanging out.
What does he do for a living?
He's a property developer.
Strange. I thought he was a villain.
That's all in the past. Who are you anyway?
Detective Inspector Burnside. I'm in charge of this case.
Well, then why aren't you doing something about it instead of asking me all these damn fool questions?
Greg, take Mrs. Burnell down the nick.
You can't arrest me. I haven't done anything.
Who said anything about arrest? I just want you to look at some photos, that's all. You do want to cooperate, don't you?
There must be something somewhere around here that'll give us a clue.
You don't think it'd be down to our firm, do you?
What, they kidnapped him?
I wouldn't put it past the robbery squad.
Larber would have known, wouldn't he?
Larber plays things a little too close to his chest for
Oh,
like
well, thank you for your confidence. Your two idiots really cocked this one up, didn't they?
They shouldn't have been there in the first place, Larva, if you'd organised the surveillance properly.
Listen, I don't want no excuses. I left explicit instructions. They were to get on the RT the minute there was any movement.
Your people were probably sleeping, that's the truth of it.
And who, pray, are you?
It doesn't matter who I am.
Who is he?
None of your business.
Oh, yes, it is.
Now, you listen to me, Larva. This crime's been committed on my patch, and I want to know why. Which means I want cooperation, not aggravation. So either help out or push off.
Mrs. Burnell, this is no time to hold anything back. If your husband's upset anybody recently, a dodgy deal, for example.
I told you, he's not into villainy anymore. He's a property developer. Legit.
Old habits are hard to break. Maybe he's had somebody over for a few quid.
This must be heaven sent. A chance to turn over Burnell's place.
Yeah, knowing him, you'll find sweet FA.
Why don't you come clean and tell me what this is all about?
Would I waste 3 weeks of my life watching him if I knew what he was at already, for God's sake?
And what happens if he turns up on some waste ground with his head blown off?
There's one less villain for us to keep tabs on, innit?
Don't take me for an idiot, Larva.
I don't know.
Look, you'll have to tell someone sometime if this all comes on top. What you got, Ted?
Timeshare.
Timeshare?
Well, it's news to me.
Property in Tenerife. He also owns property in this road, including number 6.
Isn't that where you set up your surveillance, Colin?
What about the second man?
Second man? Middle-aged, about 5 foot.
5 foot? What is he, a midget?
I can't think. My husband's missing, for God's sake. I can't remember.
Do you know how tall 5 foot is?
About his size. I'm not very good on heights.
Sierra Oscar from 832, urgent message. Are you receiving? Over.
You called an ambulance?
Yeah, it's on its way.
How is it?
You're right, nice girlfriend.
What happened?
We're collecting the takings, came across the pavement towards the vehicle, and these masked men jumped out from nowhere.
How many?
3, 4, driver, 5. It's hard to tell.
I'd say about 5.
What kind of shooters?
Well, at least 2 pump-action shotguns.
How much did they get?
About 20 grand, maybe more. We're going all out to take the van, but luckily this old lady over here scared them off.
Yeah, she's probably saved me from copping a few.
What about my groceries? There's a week's pension in that lot.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can work something out for you.
You all right, darling?
I'm fine. I'm fit as a fiddle.
Good on ya. Ted. It's a bit heavy.
Could have been worse.
Well, you better get on the robbery squad.
What about Larva's team?
You're supposed to be surveillance. How come they missed this?
What about this one?
No.
No?
No.
This one?
No.
Well, keep on looking then.
Tosh?
Yeah?
This is one of them. Slip it in amongst the others and see if she picks him out.
All right. Cheers.
It all looked the same to me after a while.
You sure? What about this one? Oh, sorry. What about this one then?
No. Just think that cart should have my name on it.
You've got a lot to thank the old lady for.
I'm going back to the Nick. I'll catch a lift in the area car, Ted.
What about Larva? The mood I'm in, I'm likely to stick one on him.
I've always said never mix business with pleasure. Keep an eye on him. Watch he doesn't pull any strokes.
I thought we were all on the same job.
Don't you believe it. Claire?
What's Larva doing here?
Area surveillance.
Miserable looking devil. What you got, Ted?
If they've done anything to Paul, sir, help me. I'll kill them.
You know who they are, don't you?
Do you think I'd be standing here talking to you if I knew? Somebody's gonna pay for this.
Bring Mrs. Burnell into my office.
Mrs. Burnell?
I'll leave it until we're finished, love, okay?
What's all this about?
That's personal.
Nothing's personal when you come into this, Nick, darling.
They're papers to do with my husband's business.
What business? He's only just come out.
Property development. He had some money put away.
I bet he did.
Hold on a second. My husband's missing, might be dead. Just tell me, what are you doing about it?
Sit down.
There's a South London villain called Cranny, an associate of Burnell's. They did time together. He was one of the kidnappers. She didn't pick him out.
Go and nick him.
No, he's not at home. I've got the local Nick sitting on his drum.
Larber's got Burnell's phone tapped, right?
Apparently.
Maybe she won't be as shy as her old man. Take her home and make out we're losing interest.
Right.
You take as many samples as you can.
I thought I might be able to find part of the footprint amongst this mess.
The only way we're going to catch these people is by forensic.
And some good old verbals.
Those days have gone. For me, anyway. I shall never stick my neck out again for this job. Not 1 inch.
There we are, sweetheart. Hang on, let me.
It's all right. You don't have to hold my hand.
You are the law, aren't you?
Yes.
I think you should have a look at that van.
What van?
The one here. There's a lot of noise coming from the inside.
Noise?
It sounds as though someone's locked in the back.
Let's have a look then, eh?
Yes, do.
Okay.
Quite know what's happened, but...
Let's have a look.
Oh!
Say, I found Burnell.
Can you give me a description of the kidnappers?
Look, I don't want to get the law involved.
We are involved.
So forget it.
Oh, this is how they kept on at me. They wouldn't let go.
What did they want? You don't just get kidnapped like that for nothing.
They made a mistake, right? Got the wrong person, okay?
Nah, it doesn't make sense.
Where is he? Inside. What's he saying? Not a lot. The van was nicked from South London this morning. Socco's on her way.
I'll go and have a look.
I want you to find out exactly where it was nicked from. Get the locals to make inquiries. And if it looks a bit iffy, bring them in.
Right.
One of them must have said something to you.
Listen, pal. The last time I looked, I had 2 arms, 2 legs, and my wedding tackle was intact. Now, I call that a good result. Do you get my meaning?
Mr. Burnell, D.I. Burnside.
I was just telling your mate here how it's all been a big mistake.
A mistake?
Well, they got the wrong fella, didn't they? Once they realised they got it wrong, they dumped me.
What, in your street?
Yeah.
That was convenient, wasn't it?
As it happens, yes.
Wanted you found, did they?
Oh, leave him alone. He's been through enough. It's finished. We just want to be left alone. Now, will you go?
That's right. Thanks for your interest. It's all over. Finito.
I've got a better idea. Let's all go down the Nick.
Okay. I turned over a couple of villains for a few grand. That's all it's about. Nothing else. I got what I deserved.
Few grand?
6 grand deposit for a property out in Spain.
Who were the villains?
Now, be fair. I can't tell you that.
And the property doesn't exist?
It exists, but it isn't mine.
A con? Is that what you're saying?
They found out and they wanted their money back.
So how come you're still in one piece?
Oh, good talker.
Pass me a couple of those plastic bags and your little brush.
You're not taking over my job, are you?
Well, they tied me up, sat me down and threatened to do all kinds of nasty things to me. They gave me a choice. Either pay up, plus another 6 grand for aggravation, or else.
And where did all this take place?
In a lock-up garage somewhere. South London. I don't know, I was blindfolded, could have been anywhere.
Did you pay him?
I made all kinds of excuses. Said I didn't have that sort of cash laying about. That either my money was tied up or in a building society. and I had to give 7 days' notice to make a withdrawal.
And they believed that?
Like I said, I'm a good talker. What else could they do?
Then what?
They wanted to teach me a lesson, let me know that they meant business. Knock me about a bit, put the boot in, dump me in the back of the van.
You gonna pay?
Oh, yeah. 14 days' time.
So if we nick these kidnappers, you won't want to take any action?
Well, to be honest, no. I mean, they shouldn't have done all this, but I deserve what I got. I was the one taking liberties. That's half my trouble.
You think you've got a very good alibi, don't you, Mr. Burnell? Cut on the head, swollen eye, nice touch.
What do you mean?
You knew that the police had you under observation, and you and your mates took advantage of it. You staged the kidnapping for us to witness it.
This is silly talk. What's he talking about?
A very good alibi.
They're trying to stitch you up.
But for one thing, I want your trainers off.
My trainers?
Do as he says. Sit down.
I wish you'd tell me what all this is about.
Let me call for a solicitor.
I'd be quiet if I was you.
Stop playing games and come to the point.
You should have changed your shoes after the robbery, Mr. Burnell. You should have got rid of them, burnt them. But then even the best laid plans go wrong, don't they?
This is silly talk.
You wouldn't remember the groceries lying on the pavement outside the supermarket. You were more interested in legging it from the scene as quickly as possible. You ran through the spilt groceries, Burnell. Drinking chocolate, sugar, broken eggs. And that single act will convict you.
Burnell, you and your mates, and they won't be hard to pick up, will be charged with the armed robbery of a security van.
You're Nick, Sunshine.
You were guessing. You didn't know for sure. What are you going to do if the lab doesn't come up with the right results on those trainers?
Nell is convinced that we've got the evidence. That's why he did a runner. By the end of the day, he'll have made a statement admitting his part in the robbery.
You're not a detective, Ted. You're a con man. And you can forget about resigning. You got no chance.
I've got till the weekend to think about it. Remember?
Being a detective is more than just a job to you, Ted. It's a way of life. You just proved it. Come on. I'm gonna buy you a drink.